It's not a sustainable solution. We are again pleading to the federal government to ensure provision of security.
Internally displaced persons in Borno and Niger State get food and material support. Republic of Niger gets new president. Mohamed Bazoum takes oath of office in Niamey. And Edo 2020 Festival Village agog as athletes arrive for National Sport Festival in Benin City. Good evening. This is NTA Network News. I am Kenan Ima Abodiken. We are live in Abuja, and Mena Okobasi will be reading from our Enugu studio, while Jennifer Igwe joins us later from Lagos. Let's start by telling you that Christendom is today commemorating the crucifixion of Jesus Christ and his death at Calvary. It is Good Friday, a day God's plan for the redemption of mankind was for Jesus Christ to pay the ultimate sacrifice on the cross once and for all. Deborah Gazaji Micah in this report examines the significance of Good Friday.
Friday, such a dark and black event that precedes Easter celebration, is the day that the Lord Jesus Christ suffers to death on the cross of Calvary for the atonement of sins. Some call it Holy Friday, while others call it Great Friday, depending on the tradition. Christians proclaimed the cross where Christ died as a redemptive turning point after Adam's sin. The death of Jesus Christ also means that mankind has been brought out of bondage of sin and Satan. Therefore, Christians on Good Friday remember the ultimate sacrifice, victory over sin, and reconciliation of mankind with God. Christian clerics, however, say on Good Friday, church services should herald the good news of the gospel of man's redemption, giving thanks to God Almighty for saving mankind.
Having received forgiveness from God through the death of Christ, we should dispense forgiveness to others as we live in love, as we share love with one another. We don't make life bitter for people. Jesus came to help us out of our sin so that we will have the fullness of life that God had planned for us.
Our total being is dependent on Him. And in learning to depend on Him, we get victory over sin, we get victory over evil, and we are able to live the good life.
It's time for us to put ourselves on the ground that God will work over us to realize His purposes.
They also noted that it's very important for Christians to know that whosoever is ready to serve God and humanity must be familiar with pains. Just as Christ said, I quote, "To be my disciple, you must take up your cross and follow me." End of quotes. Deborah Gazaji Micah, NTA News.
The Good Friday celebration came with spiritual messages of peace and love at various churches across the country to commemorate sacrifice Jesus Christ made for humanity. Sarah Khalil Ibrahim put together reports of the Good Friday celebration by correspondents from parts of the country.
The Good Friday celebration was characterized by spiritual rejuvenation at some places of worship visited. From the nation's capital city, Abuja, Omenka Amarachuku report that nation building and coexistence among Nigerians dominated messages by clerics at some churches, as Charles Alpha report on the moment of sober reflection by worshippers at the NTA's Chapel of Resurrection.
It's made us now accessible to God. All the barriers have been removed.
Those who crucified him, he asked God to forgive them. Jesus still shows that he cares and he loves.
And in Maiduguri, Christians were enjoined to always show gratitude for the sacrifice Christ made for the revival of mankind, as reported by Jadua John Jassini.
It is an open door to salvation to those that believe in Jesus Christ.
He suffered a lot of things and he went and paid for our sins. So those of us who are sinners cannot be redeemed by the death of Jesus Christ.
Meanwhile, Chika Okori from Ibunyi noted that Christians were reminded on the significance of Good Friday. Good Friday heralded the death of Jesus Christ at Calvary to his resurrection at Easter for the salvation of mankind. In Abuja, Salwa Khalil Ibrahim, NTA News.
And in the spirit of Easter, guests on NTA's Good Morning Nigeria this Good Friday identified efficient use of time, position of authority, resources and skills as requirement from citizens as sacrifice for sustainable peace in the country. Thomas Owetere reports.
Time when the nation is in dire need of solutions to national challenges. Guests on Good Morning Nigeria note that no sacrifice is too much from citizens to move the nation forward.
The big extent of his death that makes us children, that makes us justified, that make us sanctified, reconciled, saved, that makes it a really good day. So it's
why it is said that to obey is better than sacrifice. Guest further explained the supreme sacrifice of Jesus Christ was in total obedience to the will of God.
The essence we want people to know at Easter, that if you claim you are making sacrifice for God, is it in line with the will of God? Is it in obedience to the word of God? Is it in line with the plan and purposes of God for our country and for humanity?
Sacrifice simply is defined as leaving your comfort zone, discomforting yourself in order to comfort someone who is discomforted already.
If it's outside God's will, it's not a sacrifice acceptable to God. To humanity, it may be a sacrifice. One thing we must know first is that God will never ask you to do something you cannot do. If God asks you for something, that means He has deposited that thing in you. But now sacrifice is becoming a big issue today because of the fallen nature of man.
The guest urged Nigerians to shun nepotism, divisive tendencies, and embrace patriotism in order to strengthen national peace and unity. In Abuja, Thomas Ubetere, NTA News.
Now, prominent Nigerians have also joined President Muhammadu Buhari in presenting messages of goodwill that inspire new hope, peace and prosperity in Nigeria. The president reminds Christian faithful that Easter is an opportunity to renew hope and faith, show love and appreciation to one another and not despair, no matter the challenges of the period. He assured Nigerians that the government will continue to ensure that the weak, the poor and the underprivileged are not abandoned. The President of the Senate, Ahmad Lawan, urges Nigerians to use the occasion of Easter to preach religious tolerance, love for neighbors, and commitment to civic responsibilities, while the chairman of APC Caretaker and Extraordinary Conventional Planning Committee, Governor Mai Malabuni, urges Nigerians to live in peace, harmony, love, and unity as Christian faithful celebrate Easter. Similarly, Governor Boyega Oyetola of Osun State admonishes Christians and all Nigerians to emulate the virtues of love, sacrifice, perseverance, and humility as demonstrated by Jesus Christ. The Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Adamu, has also felicitated with Christians, assuring Nigerians of round-the-clock security during the Easter celebrations. State Commissioners of Police and their supervising AIGs have been ordered to ensure adequate deployment of personnel for this purpose. The Co-Marshal of the FRSC, Boboye Oyemi, in his own message, asks Nigerians to be safety conscious and obey traffic rules and regulations for a crash-free Easter. Minister of Transportation Rotimi Amechi has called for review of highway codes and laws while emphasizing the need for stiffer penalties for road traffic offenders in the country. He made this known at the Easter Mega Rally organized by the Federal Road Safety Corps in collaboration with Bayes University Law Clinic in Abuja. Oyemi Ajayi has details.
The rush has started. Utaku Motor Park getting busier as usual, and the reason not far-fetched, preparation for the Easter celebration. As expected, high vehicular movement on the highways, and that is why the Federal Road Safety Corps is taking the campaign to the doorsteps of motorists in motor parks nationwide. But this time around, with the Minister of Transportation and other stakeholders in the industry, just to drive home the message of the need for safe driving and zero road fatalities before, during and after the Easter celebration.
The major problem we're having now has to do with crashes at night, involving all these trailers carrying cattle, cows, and we have people sitting on top.
While supporting FRSC's efforts in ensuring effective traffic management through strict adherence to highway codes, some of the transporters reiterated that over 200 illegal motor parks exist in the FCT, with just only 3 cited in Karu, Zuba, and Utako are legal.
This will go a long way, as you can see, to sensitize our people whose view it adheres to strict rules.
Assuring that the Jabi Park will soon get a facelift renovation, the Minister of Transportation urged motorists not to drive above the approved speed limit in order to arrive safely to their destination.
If a man knows that reckless driving will cause death, and that if he does that, he will go to jail, he won't be reckless in driving. So the reason for introducing, for joining those who say there must be sanctions applicable to traffic laws is because it will reduce the level of carnage.
The Corps, however, charged commercial transporters to complete installation of speed-limiting devices in all their vehicles. In Abuja, Oyeyemi Ajayi, NTA News.
Now let's turn to security matters, where the Nigerian Air Force says intelligence reports indicates that the Alpha jet aircraft NAV 475 that went off the radar with 2 crew members on board on 31 March 2021 might have crashed. In a statement released this Friday by the NAF Director, Public Relations and Information, Air Commodore Edward Gabquet, the cause of the crash as well as the whereabouts of the 2 pilots remain unknown. The pilots are Flight Lieutenant John Abolarinwa and Flight Lieutenant Ebiabo Chapele. Extensive search and rescue efforts supervised by the Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Oladayo Amao, are still ongoing by NAF surveillance aircraft as well as NAF Special Forces and Nigerian Army troops on ground. The NAF says it is not ruling out anything regarding the incident. It, however, remains hopeful that the crew will soon be found and rescued. In the meantime, Governor Babagana Umar Zulum has called on federal government to do more to secure communities in Borno State to return to farming and other means of livelihood, as government can no longer sustain feeding them. The governor made the call when he distributed food and non-food items as well as 325 million naira cash support to 100,000 people comprising internally displaced persons and host communities in Manguno town of Northern Borno. Mohammed Goni reports.
The area covering northern Borno, including Monguno, Mobar and Marti, among others, were hope of agricultural activities, while the federal government's South Chad irrigation project thrived. The over a decade-long insurgency had displaced these communities, compelling the agrarian communities to stay in camps, depending on handouts from government and other intervening agencies. Hence, the continued visit by Governor Zulum to provide succor and build resilience among the IDPs and host communities, as well as the returnees. Each of the 65,000 women in Monguno received 5,000 naira cash, a fabric and sugar, while each of the 35,000 heads of household was given assorted food items at an exercise personally supervised by Governor Bagana Umara with the support of Chief Whip of the House of Representatives, Mohamed Tahir Monguno, the Speaker of Borno State Assembly, Abdul Karim Lawan, and other officials. The beneficiaries who are full of praises to the governor for his continued intervention also call on government to create enabling environment for them to return to their farms. Governor Bagana Umar appreciated the federal government agencies as well as well-meaning Nigerians who have supported with the food items.
There's no way. It's not a sustainable solution. We are again pleading to the federal government, again pleading to the Nigerian military to ensure provision of security to this very important community and other communities in Borno State so that they can go and earn their means of livelihood through engagement in their farming activities.
Member representing Monguno Martianganze Federal Constituency, Mohamed Tahir Monguno, says they will continue to key into the governor's vision, including the 25-year development plan. While in Monguno, Governor Zulum also inspected the site approval irrigation program as part of efforts to resuscitate agricultural activities in the area. In Maiduguri, Mohammed Goni, NTA News.
Still talking security matters, the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps is enhancing its operations across public schools in the country to avert further attacks and abduction by gunmen. Abdurrahman Usman Jibrila reports that the Commandant General of the NSCDC, Ahmed Abubakar Audi stated this during the quarterly media briefing of the Corps.
It is a period for operational review, and the NSCDC new strategy is to beef up security around schools as well as national infrastructure and critical assets. Commandant General says NSCDC will continue to exercise its mandate to ensure peace, security, and greater happiness of the citizenry.
And we have even commissioned a cream of researchers and intellectuals who are conducting what is called vulnerability survey. I have also directed that all state commandants should deploy our personnel to schools in their various states, and they do that in conjunction with state governors, commissioners for education, and in fact even directly with the principals, so that they can provide safety for our children.
He tasked officers and men to always be at alert and adopt community approach for intelligence gathering and operation against vandals and other criminal elements. In Abuja, Abraham Usman Jibrila, NTA News.
We'll bring you some messages now. We will be back shortly. Do stay.
Bunch of broomsticks symbolize immense strength in unity of numbers. APC, unarguably the largest political party this side of sub-Saharan Africa, strategically chose the broom to convey all that the party stands for: unity, strength, and diversity. In the APC, everyone matters. President Muhammadu Buhari are making giant strides in the areas of infrastructure, such as railways, road networks, strategic bridges, more schools, hospitals, provision of funding for agriculture and SMEs. No administration has made so much investment in youth, women, and people living with disabilities. Take a stand today. Welcome to the APC.
This message is sponsored by the caretaker chairman of the All Progressive Congress and the executive governor of Yobe State, Alhaji Mai Malabuni.
Hey guys, making music for you is so easy for me to do. But you know what else is super easy to do? Linking your NIN to your Glow line by dialing *109*NIN#. Or I can call 109 from my Glow line and follow the instructions. And if I don't want to call, I can text my NIN to 109. I can even visit glowworld.com/NIN. And what if you've forgotten your NIN? All you have to do is dial *346# and Glow will help you remember it. Someone may ask, what if I haven't registered? All you have to do is go into the nearest Glow World and we'll help you register. It's that easy. So don't get disconnected from all of the amazing voice and data offers from Glow. Linking your NIN to your Glow lines is simple, safe, and 100% free with zero hassles.
I did look for a pension fund administrator. We're soft, make sense, we care for me. Shy. No be the type when story go enter the matter when it's time to deliver. No. The brand is sure them no go stress you. Call them then they accessible. Yes, customer care where they on point. No go regret when you try, of course. Profitable investment. Everything is just a blend. If you want it good for you, my guy make you choose premium pension today. Make that switch to premium pension. Premium pension. Make that switch to premium pension.
Join over 700,000 satisfied members and enjoy the premium experience at our offices across the 36 states in Nigeria, including the FCT. Call 094615-700-704 to make the switch today. Premium pension. Active today, premium tomorrow.
Calm down. It the farm say sabi. You want to grow 6 packs in a day. I beg you not to pass your power. You want
whatever your size. Find it with the new Airtel data plans. Dial *141# now to get the plan that suits you. Airtel, the smartphone network.
As you adjust to the new realities for operating your business and engaging with your customers, let us help you transform your business into a digital powerhouse capable of adapting and taking advantage of today's opportunities. With our best-in-class array of digital solutions, you can conduct your business, receive payments from your customers, and perform transactions quickly, safely, and conveniently, because we've got you covered with the right people, technology, and service offerings. Contact us today and let us take your business to its zenith. Zenith Bank, in your best interest.
National Examinations Council, NECO, has commenced registration for the 2021 National Common Entrance Examination for admission into Federal Unity Government Colleges. The registration, which is online via NECO's website, www.neco.gov.ng, attracts a fee of 2,500 naira per candidate, payable through NECO's Treasury single account. Candidates must be final year pupils and not less than 10 years of age by September 2021. The exercise closes 29th May 2021 at 8 a.m., same day of the examination. For further information, please visit our website or any NECO office nearest to you. Announcer, Registrar, Chief Executive, NECO, Professor Godswill Obioma.
The Honorable Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, invites the general public to a town hall meeting on national security. Theme is setting benchmarks for enhanced security and national unity in Nigeria. Date is Thursday, 8th of April 2021. Time is 10 a.m. Venue is 1,000-seat capacity main lecture hall of Kaduna State University, Kaduna. Lead presenter, Professor Jibrin Ibrahim. Discussants are Mrs. Ibukun Awushika, Professor Chudi Uwazurike, Professor Sakanuru, and Professor Mrs. Kokunre Egafona. His Excellency, the President and Commander-in-Chief of Armed Forces, President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, will virtually declare the event open. For transportation and logistics to Kaduna and back, kindly call Moses on 0816-985-8109 or Sam on 0808-800-6035. Signed, Dr. Ifama Adaura Anyawutako, Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Information and Culture. Be there.
Thank you for staying with us. Mohamed Bazoum has taken the oath of office as President of Niger Republic. The swearing-in ceremony was held at the Mahatma Gandhi Conference Center in Niamey Friday afternoon. Justin Bem-Unyi reports that the ceremony was held amidst tight security.
This is Niger's first democratic transition of power since independence from France in 1960. Outgoing President Mahamadou Issoufou, who stepped down after 2 5-year terms, handed power over to Mohamed Bazoum. Bazoum, the 61-year-old former interior minister, had been the right-hand man of Issoufou. The country's constitutional court validated the runoff election results in February and declared Mohamed Bazoum winner over rival Mohamed Ousmane. Ousmane is still contesting the results, and on 22nd March, he called on the opposition not to sit in the National Assembly and also called on the army to disregard orders from what he called an illegal and illegitimate authority. Mohamed Ousmane, a former president, has refused to concede and instead taken his case to the courts, sparking mass protests by his supporters. It remains to be seen if his call or his rejection of the election results has any impact on the attempted coup. The coup attempt failed on Tuesday night after a military unit tried to seize the presidential palace. The assailants from a nearby air base were reported to have fled after the presidential guard met their attack with heavy shelling and gunfire. Government spokesman Abdurrahman Zakaria said several people had been arrested while others were still being sought, but that the situation was under control. Justin Bem-Unyi, NTA News.
30,000 vulnerable citizens are to benefit from the Osun Food Support Scheme of the government. Governor Boyega Oyetola, while inaugurating the scheme, says it is to mitigate the impact of the coronavirus pandemic on the vulnerable in the state. Joshua Ogunjide has details.
Available records indicate that many jobs have been lost, with several sources of livelihood significantly threatened due to the coronavirus pandemic. This is the reason Osun State government is running to the end of the Boyega Oyetola-led administration beginning from this April, a food support scheme targeting 30,000 poor and vulnerable citizens, including youth, widows, the aged ones, and people living with disabilities across the state on a monthly basis. 30% of the beneficiaries of the scheme are youth, as a way to further demonstrate that Governor Boyega Oyetola's administration is committed to its youth engagement policies and programs. In addition, work have begun in earnest on 2 farm settlements in Ife and Ifon, which will be duly equipped with all relevant facilities.
Our administration, in collaboration with the Federal Ministry of Agriculture, has commenced the clearing of 10,000 acres of land, part of which will be allocated to our youth who are genuinely interested in farming. In no distant time, we'll be able to have our farmers produce enough farm produce, especially staple food that commonly consumed within our locality, for the food support scheme where government becomes the off-taker.
For transparency, a committee of state functionaries and stakeholders from various religious bodies, trade groups, youth groups, minority groups, amongst others, have been constituted.
This gesture would also serve as a good means to stem the negative tide of social vices, family breakdown, emotional disturbances, and reduce rate of destitution that might emanate from lack of food among the vulnerables.
The 30,000 beneficiaries will be reached and provided with 5 kg of food bags across Osun State every month. The World Bank-sponsored social register is being adopted to cater for beneficiaries in a manner that is just and equitable. In Osogbo, Joshua Ogujide, NTA News.
With the onset of the rainy season, more than 1,000 widows in Obakala, Umuahia South local government area of Abia State, have been empowered with some farm inputs such as fertilizers, palm and corn seedlings from a non-governmental organization, Von Hera Foundation, to enable them get meaningfully engaged and feed their families. Steve Lonai Nwokolo, who witnessed the empowerment program, completes the report.
Widows Foundation, established in 2018 as a non-governmental organization, is aimed at assisting widows to cope with some societal challenges. The foundation started its empowerment program in 2019 with the distribution of food items, clothing materials, and cash to the widows.
Thank God for the mama that is supporting us. She's a very nice woman. God will bless her. And God will give her more life.
As she said that we will not cry, though the fertilizer is so costly, but she summoned courage despite the price.
I discovered that there are many widows that are helpless, that are not cared for. That informed our existence and made it possible for us to start looking into their well-being.
This is our first collaboration in our program of human development and civic corporate responsibility.
There were inspirational talks from representative of the Secretary to the Abia State government, Chris Ezem.
The Von Hera Empowerment Program, we started in 2018 with 350 widows, has increased the number of widows to more than 1,000. Enugu, Steve Lonai Nwokolo, NTA News.
In living up to its mandate, the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons has distributed food items, household materials and empowerment tools to more than 5,000 internally displaced persons in Shiroro and Munya local government areas of Niger State. Fatima Usman reports.
The IDPs
spread across 55 communities in Shiroro and Munya local government areas of Niger State who were displaced by the activities of bandits are to benefit from 677 bags of assorted grains, 120 bags of semovita, 781 mattresses, mats and blankets, as well as 40 sewing machines, among others. Director Human Resources Management Abdulrahman Wachuko, who made the presentation on behalf of the Federal Commissioner, says the Commission has visited 16 other states with similar gesture in the last 3 months and spoke on the federal government's IDPs resettlement and empowerment plans.
We are doing program reliance, where people will be trained so that they can stand on their own feet. The other program we have is called Resettlement Cities. We're trying to build houses for them.
The beneficiaries, who are full of gratitude for the benevolence, made a passionate appeal to the federal government and relevant institutions to find a lasting solution to the incessant security challenges bedeviling the area to enable them return to their communities rather than being liabilities.
We appreciate the items. Baba Buhari, thank you.
We plead that we go back to our homes.
Leaders at the camp are expected to ensure even distribution of the items. In Mina, I am Fatima Usman, NTA News.
The federal government says it is committed towards completing some of the ongoing roads infrastructure across the country at the second quarter of 2021. Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Works and Housing, Babangida Hussein, said this while on an assessment visit to Abuja Kaduna-Kano Road project. Muhammad Rabiu Ali reports. We apologize for the loss of audio in that film report. Now we take you to Lagos, and Jennifer will be guiding us. Hello, Jennifer.
Thank you, Kenny. Now, as Christians celebrate Good Friday, the world is also marking a significant event, the World Autism Day. At the instance of the United Nations, the occasion creates awareness on the condition with focus on challenges faced by autistic persons. Hingino John Adams tells us how an autistic child marked the day in Lagos.
These beautiful paintings are works of 12-year-old Ziza Okeogu, who is autistic. In spite of his condition, he strives in the competitive world of art by making a difference with his paintings. Ziza has chosen to mark this year's World Autism Day by showcasing his pieces to the public. Another way of telling the world that autism is not a limitation to those living with the condition.
He has a photographic memory, so he doesn't have to look at anything. Once he sees it, his brain just absorbs it, and he's able to just replicate it, with enough details.
It's a daily challenge to get them to learn and to be able to slowly begin to acclimatize to their world. But we're not saying that they should be neurotypical, but we're saying that they should be able to live in a neurotypical world.
For the objective of this year's theme, inclusion in workplace, challenges and opportunities in the post-pandemic world to be achieved, experts recommend more enlightenment about the condition.
Some of the signs of autism is being hyperactive, jumping, flapping, looking from the corner of their eyes, sometimes closing their ears to loud noises.
12-year-old Ziza is a reference that with early management, the limitations of autism can be minimized. In Lagos, Hingino John Adams, NTA News.
To disaster management, to effectively withstand storms, manage crisis and disaster, the adoption of information communication technology must be prioritized. This was among conclusions reached by participants at a 3-day capacity building workshop on combating emergencies held in Lagos. Olumide Egutola reports.
The outbreak of coronavirus in 2020 shut down economies of the world. Businesses and organizations that never envisaged a pandemic of this magnitude. To be equipped for unseen scenarios like these, a 3-day executive capacity building workshop on business continuity, planning and organizational resilience was organized. Emphasis was laid on effective communication as a veritable tool for crisis management. Resource persons at the workshop and found that proactiveness during crisis is always productive.
Make sure that you don't delay communication. Any leader that delay communication in crisis is creating period for people to have rumor.
Telling people to leverage technology in managing risk.
The representative of Director General of NTA, Steve Egbo, enjoined the public to cooperate with the network in its quest for rapid economic growth, even in the face of emergencies.
Our ability to move forward, our ability to remain what we are and get to where we are going is dependent on our ability to manage these crisis situations in order to achieve reasonable results.
Participants comment their thoughts on the outcome of the workshop.
Level of preparedness should be top-notch at all times.
You must have business continuity plan so that you can absorb the shock when unexpected events or incident occur.
Preparedness against unexpected disaster, unexpected pandemic, it must become our way, our culture.
I want each of the ministries at least take one or maybe quarterly, organize a capacity building of this sort.
In the course of the event, professional, technical and associate members were inaugurated and certificates presented to participants who cut across various spheres of life. In Lagos, Olumide Guntola, NTA News.
We have more on the news, but first a break. The news will continue shortly with Kene in Abuja. Stay tuned.
Download the Airtel TV app to watch all the fun and exciting performances of The Voice Nigeria Season 3 every Saturday and Sunday at 8 p.m. The Voice Nigeria, connected by
Airtel, the smartphone network.
This looks different.
It is. 8K video, beyond cinema quality.
So
you can pull portrait quality photos straight from video.
But will it last the whole trip?
Battery for the whole trip and the way back.
This is different.
Told you.
Toothpaste, Colgate Maximum Cavity Protection.
Why are we changing our toothpaste?
Because with Colgate Maximum Cavity Protection, I can be sure your teeth are cavity-free.
Cavity? What cavity?
Let me show you.
Most toothaches are caused by tooth holes called cavities. When you brush daily with Colgate Maximum Cavity Protection, its expert formula locks natural calcium in our teeth and helps protect them from cavity.
It also has natural mint for minty fresh breath every day.
Mom, can I eat chocolates now?
As long as you brush with Colgate Maximum Cavity Protection.
Colgate is the world's most chosen toothpaste.
Colgate locks calcium in.
Keeps cavities out!
Recommended by the Nigerian Dental Association.
Hello, madam. Would you like to join us on this mission? Yes, but how? Just one question for you. How do you keep your toilet clean? I use regular detergent and bleach for washing and removing yellow stains. I have been using it for years. Oh, madam. The regular detergents and bleach are used for washing clothes.
To disinfect your toilet properly, you need Harpic 10X. It is specially made for germs and stains remover. Harpic sticker formula settles on stains and gives 10 times better cleaning compared to regular detergent and bleach.
Wow! Now I'm convinced, Helen Paul.
Really?
Yeah.
Now that she's part of the mission, the next house is yours.
We just heard gunshots, north of the advanced position.
This enemy is not fighting a conventional war.
Our intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance platform will point the army to their location.
We're being deployed to the trouble spot.
We have been covered in the air. And what's the situation?
The enemy is still out there, and the nation is counting on us. And I am counting on you guys.
This does smell good.
I saw his jet go down, but I didn't spot him eject.
I'll just like for you both to make me a promise.
Hey, we don't need this energy.
Here we stand for our men, while our husbands stand for our nation.
Eagle Wings, showing in a cinema near you.
Make nights rest-filled by keeping baby's bum dry all night with Huggies Dry Comfort. With our stretchy waistband and super absorbent core, Huggies Dry Comfort provides all-night dryness and comfort to make nighttime rest-filled for baby and you. Huggies, for all-night dryness and comfort.
Welcome back. A total of 125 million naira prize money has been presented to 4 winners of the Jais Bank Fight Back COVID-19 Challenge, aimed at stimulating the growth of indigenous entrepreneurs and innovators in Nigeria. Abdullahi Suleiman Iyaji reports that the Ministry of Communications and Digital Technology gave out the checks in Abuja.
The virus pandemic introduced a global new normal affecting survival of mankind. To cushion the adverse effects, Jais Bank, renowned for smart banking solutions through impactful innovative ideas, supporting small businesses, and redistributing wealth as a key economic player, provided this platform for cutting-edge technological advancement.
Want to contribute to the development of this nation. Those genuinely who want to scale their ideas, make them bankable, to be able to add to society's prosperity, employment generation, and economic well-being. So we are open to all and sundry, so long as they have something that can add value to society.
Describing Jais Bank as a consistent, innovative enterprise, Minister of Communications and Digital Economy urged the winners to utilize the funds by injecting fresh ideas for national prosperity.
These are some of the initiatives we are lacking in Nigeria, and I'm glad that Jais is among the forefront institutions in promoting that. Whenever we see our citizens with any idea that makes sense, we need to support them.
NTA ventilators got 50 million naira first prize, followed by Sharp team, who got 40 million naira. Ready Technologies and Data Tac Nigeria Limited received a check of 20 and 15 million naira respectively as the third and fourth runners-up.
We leveraged into the pandemic, and then we came up with several solutions to the COVID-19. So when we saw the Jais Bank advert on this contest, we brought in our ventilator. We have other health-related COVID-19 solutions.
Thank you, Jais Bank. It's something that's wonderful. This would help fund some of the projects we're working on, especially our Ready capsule.
The prizes were awarded in the form of equity, non-interest financing. Abdullahi Suleiman Yaji, NTA News.
Let's now tell you that the federal government has approved an extension to the period of NIN-SIM linkage to 6th May 2021. A joint statement by the head corporate communications of the National Identity Commission, NIMSI, Kayode Adegoke, and the Director Public Affairs, National Communications Commission, NCC, Ikechukwu Adinde, indicates that the President's approval was conveyed by the Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Dr. Issa Ali Pantami, who chaired the meeting of the Ministerial Task Force on the NIN-SIM data linkage. The statement adds that the decision is predicated on the current number of monthly enrollment, which has increased significantly to about 2.6 million registrations. There has also been a remarkable increase in the number of enrollment centers across the country, with about 3,800 centers available for enrollment. There are also many more new centers in the pipeline. Enugu is next, and Minar is standing by.
Hello, Kene. Good evening and welcome to Enugu. Abstinence from meat by some Christians the world over is in commemoration of the crucifixion of Jesus Christ on Good Friday. Chika Ugo takes a look at the significance of this sacrifice of self-denial in Christendom.
In Christendom, Good Friday, for sober reflection, is the day Jesus Christ died for the redemption of mankind.
We are celebrating
the death of Christ, because it is through this very death that our redemption was wrought.
Jesus died for the whole world. When John introduced him, he said, "Behold the Lamb of God that takes away the sins of the world."
As Christians world over recount his painful crucifixion, some denominations refrain from eating meat. This practice was adopted from an ancient culture where meat was seen as a delicacy during celebrations and abstained from on the said day to recognize the sorrow in the death of Jesus Christ.
They deprive themselves of that lustrous part of the banquet, which is the meat. The meat is just the physical thing mentioned, but the essence is not just meat. Deprive yourself of something important to you.
However, not all Christians observe this practice of self-denial. For these butchers, business, though not too commendable, are making sales.
Market day fine today.
People, they buy the meat.
They buy meat well. Will they sell?
Meanwhile, Christians are set to celebrate the resurrection of Jesus Christ on Sunday, otherwise known as Easter. In Enugu, Chika Ugu, NTA News.
The Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Isiaka Oladeyo Amao, has commended officers and men of the Nigerian Air Force Base, Enugu, for their professional conduct in the discharge of their duties in the Southeast geopolitical zone. The Air Chief was speaking when he paid a one-day working visit to the command in Enugu. James Obarekocha reports.
Born in Enugu, Air Marshal Isiaka Amao, after a closed-door meeting with senior officers of the command, went on an inspection of facilities at the ground training command of the force. He inspected the 184 hectares of land for the permanent site of the ground training command that will house 553 Base Services Ground Training Center and residential houses for officers and men. The team also went to the Air Force mini base at Abakwa, where he inspected houses and NAV Medical Center. Air Marshal Amao later had an audience with officers and men of the command, where he informed them that the new mandate of Mr. President is to ensure total eradication of all security threats in Nigeria. He informed the officers and men that at all times there must be synergy with other security agencies in order to ensure a holistic approach to all security challenges in the country. He therefore charged the men to remain focused, especially in the southeast.
We'll be working hard to meet up with the presidential directives. And the directives is for us to ensure that the security challenges in the country becomes a thing of the past.
His visit to Enugu is part of his tour of the Air Force commands across the country in order to have a first-hand information about the state of Air Force commands across Nigeria. From Enugu, James Oparikocha, NTA News.
And that's it from Enugu. The news continues with Kenne in Abuja after the break.
Hungry, tired, often dehydrated, yet risking their lives. This is the predicament at least 13.2 million Nigerian children find themselves in every day.
The number of children we have out of school now is actually a consequence of the poor quality of education.
Government itself needs to begin to think differently about education. And that is why we are also at this moment planning a comprehensive curricular review.
If you do not have appropriate education, you may end up being a fodder for those who are going to try to cause economic or social mishaps.
Thank you for staying with us. U.S. authorities have lifted the earlier lockdown imposed on the capital following the killing of a police officer by a man that rammed a car into a security barrier near the U.S. Capitol building on Friday. The police says investigation is ongoing on the incident in which one officer was killed and another remains hospitalized. Acting U.S. Capitol Police Chief Yogananda Pittman told reporters in a news briefing that officers shot the driver after he exited the vehicle wielding a knife and started to launch aggressively towards U.S. Capitol Police officers, adding that the driver was taken to a hospital where he died.
Difficult time for U.S. Capitol Police after the events of January 6th and now the events that have occurred here today. At this time, the suspect has been pronounced deceased. 2 U.S. Capitol Police officers were transported to 2 different hospitals, and it is with a very, very heavy heart that I announce one of our officers has succumbed to his injuries.
Access to the Capitol premises has been heavily guarded since a pro-Trump mob stormed the building on January 6 in a riot that led to 5 deaths. 2 layers of 8-foot fences topped with barbed wire were erected in the aftermath, one that surrounded the overall campus and blocks of federal buildings, including the Supreme Court and Library of Congress. The incident happened while both chambers of Congress are out of session and most lawmakers are back in their home districts. Now, the festival village of the Edo 2020 National Sports Festival has been declared open as athletes across the state arrive Benin City ahead of the fiesta. Peter Oibo reports that security personnel were also on ground to receive the visitors.
This is Samuel Ogbemuda Stadium, one of the main venues for the Edo 2020 National Sport Festival. It will interest you to know that after several months of uncertainty regarding the hosting of the festival in Nigeria, athletes across the federation are arriving the stadium ahead of the tournament.
Athletes this Friday in their branded vehicles arrive Edo State ahead of the 20th edition of the National Sports Festival slated for April 2nd to April 14, 2021. A visit to the Samuel Ogbemuda Stadium and the Games Village at the University of Benin, where some of the athletes are camping, shows a beehive of activities as participants undergo COVID-19 rapid